Let's continue speaking about my fourth friendship with Filippo. So the last act I talked about to you, was it an act of courage? It was more the end of a nightmare in reality. It has been so too long for me to experience the relief of that afternoon. Now, with the terror and the certainty that it would not end there. Certainly, my relationship with Filippo had ended. I told my grandmother the whole truth about the violence that I was forced to suffer from that man, and then also over the phone to my mother. Obviously, their reaction was incredulous. How could a skinny little boy do so much harm to a fat 2 years older? I honestly didn't care if they believed me or not. I was sitting back on my car. I didn't want to, for any reason, to hear about other visits of Filippo to our house. It hurt me, of course, that Pietro went on to frequent him even in the following months, perhaps for another year. But I really didn't want to go into the matter anymore. Finally, when my brother, thank goodness, began to distance himself from his childhood friend, and to attend other classmates, Filippo even organized himself with a gang of thugs to take revenge and publicly beat him up. It was a mistake that he paid for with the definitive exorcism from our family. I later learned that he had come to look for me too when I left school, but I was lucky enough to be intercepted by one of the other expectant mothers who escorted me home and confided to me that he had known that Filippo that um, that mother had known the intention of that little ran from for some time. Um, Filippo had allowed himself to flaunt um, his intentions to the entire school children, thus sanctioning yet another slip towards the end of his reign of terror. With the beginning of middle school, I completely lost sight of that battered little guy, eaten out to the soul by nervous crisis and his socio-affective discomfort. However, one morning, like every Sunday, I went to my grandmother to spend the whole day in her company. I was just under 30, and my life had already died out, settled in a circle of monotonous and slow decline. "Hey, how you doing? Are you Raffaele, right? Do you remember who I am?" he called me, breaking my self-hypnosis and forcing me to raise my head, that I always kept on to my shoes when I still happened to go out on the street. "Filippo," I stammered without fully realizing that the gaunt face is decidedly raised and marked by wrinkles and deep dark circles was that of a former persecutor. He talked to me from the window of his car, standing in the middle of traffic and not caring that the others began to cheer him on with honking horns. "Where are you going?" I told him. He asked me to give me if he could give me a lift in his car. While it still seemed like a dream to me, I was quick to refuse with a "no thank you." He also said that he had known, for whom, I don't know, that I had graduated, that he invited me a lot, and that he had instead got lost along the way, hadn't having gone to this high school, and perhaps he would have been forced to emigrate to find a job. I feigned interest. Then I found the excuse my grandmother was expecting me to tell the truth. I hadn't read even a shadow of the wickedness of the past on that suffering face. A slight irony, of course, but nothing compared to the present resignation of a man defeated by destiny. We were two failures perhaps, yet he had called me lucky to have a degree, intelligent, man who has achieved something in life. How wrong you were, Filippo. For some time he was married, He even came to life to live, ironically, right in front of my parents' house. He had a baby girl, he cheated on his wife, he started to sell cocaine. The last time I heard about him from my family, I discovered that he was interned in a rehabilitation community in the Milan area. It was at least managed to free himself from our common southern trap, catechism and first communion. So let's talk about my catechism years. In accordance with the wish of my teacher, and more than anything else, anyone else, before leaving me, my teacher of elementary school wanted to see me receive the most important sacrament in the life of a child. My parents enrolled me in a fourth grade when I was in fourth grade, together with my brother, in the 2 year course of catechism at the parish of our country, of our little town. As I mentioned a few pages ago, mentioned a few videos ago, my parents wouldn't have cared much whether I had communion or not. For them, as for most Italian families, baptisms, communions, confirmations, and weddings are mere social customs. They are celebrated to sanction their belonging to a community, and to feel strong and satisfied in it. For these same principles, on the other hand, my mother remained all her life next to a man she hated, and vice versa. My attachment to the figure of Christ only strengthened through a more in-depth study of the Gospel, of Catholic prayers, of the various Christian rituals. In the passage of my catechism book, there was the figure of a young woman hanging out the clothes from behind, and on the lawn next to her, a very small child who called her in vain, clinging with her hand to the hem of her skirt. A sentence below the figure in elegant italics read, "Even when your mom forgets you, God is always there." It remained engraved in my heart, and from then on I began to devote myself more consistently to the various Saturday tasks for the catechism teacher. Second and third grade stuff, but so simple in its beauty that it won me over immediately. Unfortunately, I never managed to settle into that new class. Well, because there were all children much younger than me, and I didn't want to have anything to do with them. And well, I never managed to settle into that new class. I was frightened by the new classmates. I was terrified from the catechists. I could barely show the activity book to have my homework checked. Once, just because I tried to hide my face during lecture from the teacher, I got a scolding that took my breath away with fright. My love for God became more and more explosive, and gradually cut off the whole mortal world from me. Tracing back the history of my childhood religiosity, morbidly attached to the punctuality with which I attended Sunday Mass, with which I confessed periodically after receiving the host, and finally with which I recited a long exhausting series of prayers every night before falling asleep, a good intention, I wonder if the Christian religion really is suitable for the tender minds of such young children. It will be said to me, and how is that? It is the religion of innocence par excellence. Um, Christian religion is the religion of innocence par excellence. It is the religion of our children. But it is the true idea of God that I am referring to. Can a child imagine something so tall, powerful, annihilating, and exterminating without being frightened and finally getting lost in it? Once again, you will contradict me. Never has one heard of a child plagiarized by his idea of Christ, of the saints, of that burdened and nameless God that peeps out of the top of the altar. The fact is that I was really deluding myself, that I knew him, the supreme judge of life and death, and of our good deeds and of the blackest sins. In the absence of any role model strong enough to guide me in my race to an happy life, I elected the Lord to guide as a guide and only comfort. I ruined myself with my own hands, or rather with my own conscience. Well, that's all for now. I'll see you in the next video.